You know, most things are pretty weird if you take enough time to actually think about it and to really dive into the depths as to how it actually works and functions and gives us the actual use of it and what we know about it. For example, what do you let in? And when I say that, I'm going to draw your attention to your eyes. Because every time that you look upon something, it's actually as if, in a sense, whatever it is that you're viewing is being internally digested into your body. No, it's not necessarily like, digesting something through your esophagus in your mouth, but to a certain degree, different sites actually provide differing forms of pleasure. And based upon what we perceive to be aesthetic or pleasing to the eye, we actually prefer to look upon certain things versus looking upon other things. And being in a certain environment rather than being in an alternate environment, which is not pleasant towards your vision. Well, so what is it that you let in? I mean, if we really take the time to think about it, and have any of you ever had that moment where you're kind of really just like looking at somebody and it's like you connect with them in their eyes and it's just the most weird sensation and odd feeling really that it's kind of like almost in a sense more connection actually occurs in that moment than actually physically touching somebody. It's like their whole persona and image and whatever it is that they are is like climbing its way through your pupils as if there's some form of cavity in which a spelunker, grapples down into. And the recesses of your mind are the cave in which they're crawling through. And their entire image of what it is that they are is expressed in how the light reflects off them. And it's just this really fascinating sensation of connection and of almost as if, for a split moment, you and that person are in a sense like directly linked and connected. And in a lot of ways, we like to view the visual world outside of ourselves as something that we're not necessarily a part of. But it's like this feedback loop where, what happens is the loop is turning and it comes to a point where it hits you. And based upon your reaction to the feedback loop itself, from when it hits you, you can alter the wave function. And then as it comes back around, it's now something else other than what it once was. And so we're in like this feedback loop with our surroundings where we, in a sense, have the ability to interact with this light and with the reflection of this light, which is kind of like, the whole world is like this one giant house of mirrors that is just reflecting the same light that's kind of always been. And whenever you look upon something, it's like bending and refracting back into yourself. And like people like climb, through your eye and into your skull and into your mind. And it's like they become a part of you. And for, a split second when you're viewing somebody in that intense moment, it's almost like you're not necessarily you, but you're looking in a mirror and they are you. And that's another very strange and odd thing. If you've ever had the opportunity to look somebody close enough in the eyes, what you actually see is a reflection. And it creates this perpetual reflection. You can do this in the mirror. Look in your own eyes in the mirror. And what ends up happening is you perpetually reflect the image just back and forth. And within the eye, you see yourself. Within yourself, you see another eye. And within the eye, you see yourself within the eye, so to speak. And this same thing actually happens when you look into somebody else's eyes. But, you know, it's very odd. It's a very odd sensation because, like I said before, you know, what you look upon actually, in a sense, is like entering into you. Because it's like there's some made up image and they're this form and they're this song. And, you know, like I said, we look away from things which are unpleasant to our vision and we look toward things which are pleasant towards our eyes. And so we continually look upon that which is pleasing to our senses, and not just taste and smell and feel, but of sight as well. And so what is it that you let in? What is it that you allow into your vision? And what is it that you seek out? What is it that you block? Are there things in which you see and maybe they find a way to make their way into your mind, and you say, no longer will I allow this image to become the forefront of my thought or my vision, and so you block it out. You create barricades and barriers so that it can no longer make its way into what it is that you are. You know, build a moat, build a castle, build a wall. And then in your spare time, you send out archaeologists and you send out explorers to seek out things which provide a sensation of intense euphoric, you know, visualization of an object. And, you know, like with most things, like I said, once you dive down into the inner workings of it, it's quite odd and quite weird. And you can make anything odd and weird in that way. But yeah, what is it that you let into your eyes? Well, if you made it this far into this video, then you not only let this image into your eyes and into your mind, but also my frequency and my broadcast into your ears, which is another thing all its own. Alright, later.